What's up guys, back again for another vlog. Today I wanted to give you an update on the situation here in Vietnam during this global CV event, and also wanted to give you guys my thoughts about the event and an update. So yeah, this CV pandemic is one extraordinary phenomenon for all of us, and I think the situation is constantly evolving as we are presented with new challenges every day. Countries worldwide have been locked down and are been locked down, some for a few weeks already. I call it planetary isolation. Is it possible to find any positives amidst this CV pandemic right now? I don't know. Businesses are closing down, people are not working except for essential workers. And this event I see is impacting our communities in so many different ways. Unemployment numbers are increasing, and I think socially this will also increase numbers in other areas too. Things like hunger, poverty, domestic violence, suicides, and a whole bunch of other different things. Now, over the next few weeks, I'm hoping to organize some interviews and talk with professionals in the fields of social engineering, trauma, depression, and those who are experts in those fields, especially when events like this happen. And we can look at some of the solutions that they talk about, and also some of the things that people can do to take care of themselves mentally, physically, and spiritually, because this whole thing is rather unique, because there's a whole lot of things happening right now in a very short space of time, really fast. How will people respond to these events in the future? These are some of the questions. What has it revealed so far? How is society responding to it? And what can we do? Is this event creating massive dependency on our governments? Think about that. And is this an event where an epidemic of this nature creates a lot of mass panic, with logic being one of the first victims? Think about that one as well. Those are some really interesting questions to think about and discuss. And over the next coming weeks, I will be sharing more of my thoughts and the thoughts of others to answer some of these questions for you guys. So hopefully we can get those on the roll very soon. But just remember this. I think crises of this nature are often opportunities to impose greater social restrictions, laws, but I think also they are opportunities to bring about greater social change. So it's kind of like a 50-50 thing. Anyway, it's something to think about and to be aware of. Anyway, let us look at some of the current stats and the numbers of CV worldwide. Let's do a bit of a refresh first. There you go. CV cases 828,000, deaths nearly up to 41,000. Let's look at the countries and see who's leading in those countries. There you go. USA 176,000, China 81,000. They've been steady. What about Czech Republic? 3,000. Wow, when I was there it was only like 120,000. That was like 3 weeks ago. Let's look at New Zealand. New Zealand 647 right there. And where is Vietnam? Vietnam 207. 207. Wow, that's really not much cases, and they've got no deaths, so that's even better. But Vietnam's population is 99 million. 99 million, get that in your head, compared to New Zealand, which is nearly up to 5 million. And look at the amount of cases they have, 600 plus, but Vietnam has 207. So the comparison is pretty unique. Anyway, let's have a look at some more fascinating factual numbers while we're here on this website. This is the Worldometer website. So there goes our global population, 7 billion, going up to 8 billion. Deaths this year, 14 million deaths this year. Well, look at those fascinating facts here. 64 million on public healthcare expenditure today. Wow, look at that. 4 billion internet users in the world today. That's a lot. Environment. Let's look at health. There we go. Here's health. So, let's look at seasonal flu deaths this year. Seasonal flu deaths, 121,000. How much was the CV at this present moment? 40,700. So seasonal flu, 121. Abortions, 10 million abortions this year. Wow. I mean, I'm not trying to be negative looking at these stats or anything. I think they're quite good to compare against the CV at this stage. So these are basically things that have happened this year. And you look at cancer this year, 2 million deaths. How much was the CV? 40. Cigarettes smoked today, 77 million smoked. How many deaths by smoking? 1,246,000. How much was the CV? 40. Okay, interesting. Look at that one. Suicides. Wow. And look at that, the money spent on illegal drugs this year, 99 billion, nearly $1 trillion. Wow, that's a big money making system, that one is. Wow, very interesting. So those are some factual numbers there. So very interesting. When you look at the comparisons there, are we as a society robotically panicking into fear? I'll put that out there so you guys can think about that. I'll say it again. When you look at those comparisons, are we as a society robotically panicking into fear? And how does that fear come about? As they say, behaviors come from our perceptions. How are our perceptions shaped? Well, our perceptions are shaped by the data we receive, information we receive. Where have we received our data? Where have we received our information from? Think about that. So then you can think about the behaviors. Anyway, I'm just putting it out there. You saw the facts there. The numbers don't lie. Interesting. CV cases compared to other cases in other areas around the world. I find it very interesting looking at the numbers there and the facts. That's right, the facts. So let's move on to an update now about what's going on in Vietnam. So at the moment in Vietnam, the government have closed off all incoming borders, flight, sea, land, for foreigners, and they are not issuing any visas at the moment. Vietnam citizens can still come in okay though, but they are subject to a 14-day mandatory quarantine. And this page here on this Facebook group, Vietnam Legal Group, gives an update about that 14-day quarantine and about the no visa on arrival for foreigners. If you do want to find out more information about Vietnam, visas, visa extensions, anything to do with the legal side here of Vietnam, bank accounts, and a whole lot more, join this Facebook group, Vietnam Legal Group. Really good, awesome group, very informative, and that'll get you up to date with what's going on here in Vietnam. Okay, next topic is Vietnam in a lockdown as of right now, midnight? which is right now, midnight, there is what they are calling a social distancing curfew. No, it is not a lockdown. It's a soft version of a lockdown. It's a social distancing curfew, which is in place for 2 weeks. So it starts right now, which is the 1st of April, goes through to the 15th of April. So if we look at this article, it says Vietnam starts a nationwide social distancing campaign, which is today, Wednesday, not allowing gatherings of more than 2 people, asking people not to leave their homes. The curfew imposition would last 15 days under a directive issued Tuesday by the Prime Minister, and it calls for people in the same families, villages, communes, districts and cities to stay put where they are. Factories must maintain social safe distances, disinfect premises, and employees must wear masks to prevent infection. People should only leave home for emergencies, buying food and medicine, and working in factories, production facilities, and businesses that involve trade in essential goods and services. So there you have it. People must maintain a safe distance of at least 2 meters from each other. No gathering of more than 2 would be allowed in public, except for in offices, schools and hospitals where the government imposed a 20 per person limit earlier. So it is kind of like changing all the time. As I said before, things are changing rapidly. They get one thing in place now, but then it changes like an hour later or a day later. So you have to kind of be up to date with a lot of the information. That website on Facebook, that Facebook group I should say, Vietnam Legal Group, gives very informed, updated, accurate updates about what's going on here in Vietnam, so join that. Now, it is not a lockdown. There you go. Phuc's directive is not a lockdown order, and the government still manages to contain the epidemic. And they do. I mean, 200 cases, 99 million people, they've done pretty well. Done really well. What sparked this social distancing curfew was an outbreak of CV at this hospital here. So life crawls after Bach Mai Hospital turns CV into a hotspot. One of the nation's busiest hospitals, Bach Mai Hospital in Hanoi, has been isolated since Saturday as it's linked to 34 CV infections so far. So that's why they kind of brought this soft lockdown in, which is, I guess, needed. Good thing is you can still go out and get your necessities and essentials. So that kind of sparked it off. And some of the other things that the Vietnam government are putting out there now that are mandatory is the wearing of a face mask in public. If you are caught without wearing one, there are penalties involved. And in the case of these guys here in this video, it says maskless drivers affirm health via push-ups. Stops for pulling over an expressway in northern Vietnam and found wearing no masks. 3 drivers proposed doing push-ups. Okay, so let's check out this video and see them in action. There you go. So you can see them doing push-ups. In a way, it seems pretty crazy. I saw in Vietnam, in India, some of the authorities there using sticks whacking people home during lockdown. I mean, is that ethical? What is that saying about our society when we do things like this? I just find it very interesting, to say the least, about what's currently going on at this time. Anyway, guys, I think that's pretty much the update with Vietnam and what's going on here. So it is a bit of a soft lockdown, social distancing curfew, they've termed it. And it kind of makes me think, this whole event kind of makes me think about our current system, our current social economic system, if it still exists, and how it should begin with the concern of our society, our environment, and our loved ones. Now think about that. I'll say it again. Our current social economic system, monetary system, if it still exists, should begin with the concern of our society, our environment, and our loved ones. And where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Into the unknown? Do we return back to normal? Or maybe we can't return back to normal because the normal we had may actually have been the problem. I mean, do you think about that? Do you actually think about that? I'm putting a lot of these questions out here in this vlog, and I hope it can lay a seed, because I think this is going to create some solutions for a lot of things that are being sparked up here. And I think what I am seeing out there in society now is this heartening, spontaneous community. This week I've seen a few of my friends start some Facebook groups to combat stress, depression, a lot of the poverty out there. So they set up support groups to help people with some of the stresses and anxiety that they're going through during this period of time, because people are losing their jobs, businesses are closed down. It's crazy, man. It's just really crazy. And as I said before, do we return to normal? What's ahead? The unknown's ahead, but what is ahead? We need to think about these kind of things. So I'm seeing some virtual groups who are intuitively, I would say, mobilizing towards an enriched ethical awakening, you would call it, maybe. I'm not quite sure. All I can say is it's interesting times ahead, and yeah, a lot of stuff to think about. So have another listen to this vlog again and check out some of the questions I've put out there, and think about some of those things that may be playing on your mind as well. You may be concerned because you have responsibilities and all that kind of thing. So I think these are questions that we as individuals, but also as a community, need to question and look for solutions. Anyway guys, we're going to leave this video at that. Hope to do some more awesome vlogs informing you guys about my thoughts and about the current events. Anyway, we're going to leave this video at that. Give this one a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Experience the journey, inspire others, live life guys.